With at least 29 tornadoes confirmed to have touched down across the Ozarks last week, it's no doubt that emergency management officials all across the Ozarks were busy before, during, and after the storm. Here to talk with us more about that today is Larry Woods, the Director of the Office of Emergency Management in Greene County, and also Debbie Meads. You are the President and CEO of United Way of the Ozarks. So thank you both so much for being here. Debbie, we'll get to you and chat about what the United Way is doing to help victims in just a few minutes. But first, Larry, I want to start with you. How does the Office of Emergency Management prepare for storm systems and those tornado-warned storms coming into the area? Sure.
Well, our biggest thing is to make sure that the public is prepared. So we were out ahead of this storm, really promoting through social media and media releases and things to make sure that the public was, as prepared as they could be. And I think that really proved itself out, because we went through these storms, and although they did cause damage, we didn't have a lot of injuries, which is a huge deal for us. But we always have watch officers on 24/7 to monitor these storms and monitor any type of emergency management situation that may occur. So whereas the county is as prepared as it can be.
And we saw a lot of damage from last week's storms as well, and it seemed like it was just one tornado warning after the next throughout our area. How did your office respond to that? Do you go out immediately? Do you wait till the storm passes? And what do you do when you respond?
Well, typically, as I said, we've got watch officers that are on call 24/7. So we had staff actually in the office monitoring the radars, monitoring the storm system as it came through. We were activating the outdoor warning sirens, communicating with the responders in the field, communicating with the National Weather Service to warn the public, putting things out on social media, etc. And then once that initial phase is over and something does happen, then we're out there working and communicating with our response agencies, getting them resources they may need. We were able to get resources for the responders in the field that night, and then after the initial response is kind of over, then we start sending out damage assessment teams to see, how bad the situation is and what the scope of it is.
Did your teams learn anything from this event? This previous event?
Well, I mean, we learn something from every event that we have, which is unfortunate, because it seems like every time we're learning, something bad had to have happened, but it helps us prepare for the next one. So the big thing here is we learned about the different types of damage that occurred in this particular event, everything from straight line wind to the actual tornadoes themselves. Ours was a kind of a hit and miss, where it appeared as if it almost kind of picked up and set down and picked up and set down, because it was kind of jumped over at different areas. So we had a lot of different areas to visit along the damage path. So that makes it a little harder to access those areas. So.
And you actually set up kind of a hub for volunteers to come and help as well. That closed down this week. You were able to close it down and start moving on to other things, correct?
Right. We set up our volunteer coordination center last Thursday, and we were able to get some teams out in the field to start helping people in their initial recovery process, to help get some of their debris taken care of, and whatever other issues that they may have. Worked with our partners at the American Red Cross, who are out doing case management things with folks to help with their immediate needs. And now that we kind of got that process in play and things going, then we started transitioning that from the actual volunteer coordination center to more of a virtual environment, so we can bring additional partners in to start looking more towards a long-term recovery process.
And that's where Debbie comes in with the United Way of the Ozarks. So the United Way of the Ozarks actually holds the Greene County Community Organizations Active Disaster Fund. Can you explain what that is and how it helps people?
So in Springfield, Greene County, we have Community Organizations Active in Disaster. It's a committee, actually, of all the organizations that actually help during and after a disaster. And I think something that a lot of people don't understand about that, so they think, okay, Red Cross is going to be there, United Way's there, Salvation Army's there, Convoy of Hope's going to be there, Catholic Charities, all these that we think of course they're going to be there. But also in the committee, we have the cities at the table, the chambers at the table. So it's public and private, so that we're talking together to say, what do we see out in the field, what are the needs, so that we can work together. So the initial member of the COAD that goes out, as Larry was saying, and does that initial assessment of what do families need that have been impacted is the Red Cross. And then they get permission from those affected to share that information with the COAD. And so today we actually had a meeting saying how many families were affected. So we had over 100 households that were affected. What are the needs that we're seeing out there? How are they initially being helped, and what can we do long term for them?
What can people do if they still want to help individually, just contribute to their community?
So that's a great question. So when we closed the Volunteer Coordination Center, we really started pushing people to call 211. So United Way 211 is our real partner in disaster. So if you want to help, you can call 211. If you need help, you can call 211. And then they actually send us reports at the end of every day. These are the people that were impacted, so we make sure that we're calling them to see what their needs are. And these are volunteers that want to help.
Still a long road of recovery ahead for some of these victims. What kind of donations do they need right now?
The best way to help is to donate money to the Long-Term Recovery Fund, because it's still raining. So families, volunteers have helped families box things up so they can store them, have helped them sort things out. But really now we're waiting for what a lot of people were insured. And when we say, oh, you were insured, a lot of people think, oh, done deal. But a lot of people, they have insurance, but they're underinsured. It covers some things and not others. And so our case managers, they follow the families, and we'll give them a call back in the next couple weeks and in 30 days to say, now what are the needs? Now that you're rebuilding your house, did it cover your appliances? Do you need furniture? What about clothing? All of those things. And as we learn those things, then we can put a call out to the community to say, okay, now we need these things. So I think that's really important too, that people know these funds go directly to the Long-Term Recovery Fund for Greene County. Okay. So they'll be used for whatever the needs are here in our county.
Very good. Larry Woods and Debbie Meads, thank you so much for being here tonight with us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Ozarks Tonight, we'll be right back.